Hello, everybody. Welcome to Virtual TrekCon 2024 Science Quiz Show. Welcome! Yay!
Yeah!
Virtual TrekCon 2024 Science Quiz Show. Thank you all for being here. I'm pleased to introduce our wonderful co-host. Let's start with meteorologist Katie Nickolaou.
Hello, everyone. This is going to be so much fun.
And up next, we have Dr. Ann Marie Segal.
Hi. I was just eyeing that chair you're sitting in the title slide because that's going for like $40,000 in an auction right now.
Whoa!
I know.
That wasn't
That's
the real
not
one.
the prize, though.
That was not the real one. Everybody's curious. That particular chair was from the Starbase Indie convention from 2017. They had a replica up there. Actually, I just went to Starbase Indie this last year too. It was also as wonderful as always. Anyway, thank you all for being here. My name is Mohamed Noor. I'm a professor of biology at Duke University, and I'm an occasional science advisor for the Star Trek universe. Speaking of science, let's talk about the rules for today. So what we're going to do is we are going to read some questions. We're going to alternate. It's going to go Katie, Mohamed, Ann Marie, and then just go in a circle over and over again. When you hear the question, when you know the answer, please type it into the live chat. Meteorologist Katie has graciously agreed to keep track of who are the first three that submit. And we will then log all three. So we'll actually keep the first three. You all get, it doesn't matter if you're number 1, number 2, or number 3. But if you're number 4, you may as well be number 100.
Yeah.
Now, let me emphasize one thing. From your end, it may look like you're in a different order than it is at ours. Because sometimes when you type it in, it shows up immediately on your YouTube, but it comes in like a second or two later on ours. So it may look like, hey, I came in before War Dogheim. Like, nope, War Dogheim was faster because we got it at our end, but it all comes in at the same time. So apologies for that. The questions are unfair. We'll just open with that. The questions are unfair. Yeah, if you don't like it, we'll refund you 100% of the money you paid for being here. So, that said, we do have one little surprise. So our main prize, I'm going to pull it up right now if I can actually get it to work. Give me 1 second. Our first prize for the person who gets the highest score, they will get a Jenny R. Johnson print that we will buy for them. So many of you know a wonderful friend artist, Jenny R. Johnson, that will get this particular print. We will order, pay for it, and have it shipped to wherever you are.
Wow.
So
that's really cool.
That is your first prize. We also have some other prizes for the other levels. Don't worry about those. You'll find out if it's relevant. Anything else we need to tell everybody? Oh, actually, Dr. Ann Marie always likes to remind me too that like, just go ahead and guess, because like even if it seems like you're getting really far behind, very often the person who wins is not the person who's in the lead to start with. So stay with it, keep guessing, and you have a good shot.
Anybody's
Absolutely.
game.
Meanwhile, I'm like frantically texting my parents, like, "Hey, I want to win this print. Could you guys play for me?"
And honestly, even if you already have it, it makes an amazing present. Or you just have two.
Yeah.
So are we ready to get going?
Get it autographed? Absolutely.
Yeah. Dr. Ann Marie, you ready too?
Oh, yes.
Awesome. All right.
I was reading about Marina's earrings comment. I was like, I know, they are great.
Let me highlight a couple of things from the chat just to see. Our friend Melissa Longo says, because guessing is fun. Bobby says, first place print, 2 and 3 chocolate bars. There might be this little like fun-sized Kit Kat. I'm just kidding. Faith Val, wow, what a prize. Our wonderful host, Virtual TrekCon. That's incredible. So lots of enthusiasm there, lots of enthusiasm.
Oh my God, what time is it in Austria, Robert Kaiser? Crazy.
Yeah, I know, right?
Wow, that's dedication.
Anyway,
we are responsible for so much insomnia.
As Tony Reld says, good luck, everyone, and I hope we all get every question right. Meteorologist Katie, you're up first. Are you ready to go?
Oh, I am ready to go. Let's do this.
Let's do it. All right. Question 1.
All right, question 1. This character's name is also the freezing point of water in degrees Celsius. Pretty easy one for anyone who's not in America, because yay us, we don't like the metric system. We'll use anything except the metric system. Let's see what we have. Answers are coming in. Ooh, we have them. The answer is 0.
Woohoo!
So, yay for Prodigy.
Oh, I love that.
Have to include 0 for this. And I see what Chris was going for. Just didn't get the O in. I'll still count it as a gracious host.
That's a
We
gracious
have
host.
the top 3 for this one: Chris Marshall, Carol Shorn, and Lucia Rax. If I get your last name wrong, please let me know the phonetics of it. As someone with the last name of Nickolaou, I can totally relate.
Yeah, Lucia's coming to us from Brazil, so we got our South American representation here. So that's awesome.
Look at
All right.
you.
We got question. We got my first question ready to go. You guys ready? All right, I have a short version online, and there's the long version. In the Picard episode Imposters, the doctor analyzes blood from the changeling and says it could pass a traditional blood test, but also notes it's completely lacking this molecule, which is much more likely than a simple blood test to be used for testing for species identity. How do people test for species identity? What molecule do they look at? So we have lots of guesses there. This is one of those ones that sounds harder than it is. We have at least one correct answer already in the live chat.
Ooh.
Oh, we have people guessing a couple of different things in there. All right, we got 3. The correct answer, or at least, again, it's unfair. The correct answer I was looking for in this case was DNA. DNA.
Ooh.
Yeah. And it's funny, too, because if you go back to the original series of Star Trek, you might remember there was an episode, too. There's this very Shakespearean episode where they're trying to figure out if the guy was Commander Kodos or Kodos the Executioner or something. Yeah. And the way they did it then, of course, this is from the 1960s, so it's before DNA tests were common. They did this voice print analysis to see if it was him, which was fascinating. I'm like, that's how you're going to figure out if it's him? Why not just get his DNA? But, like, of course, when that aired, that wouldn't have been the way anybody would have done it. So
true. And we had those 3 answers come in pretty quickly, actually. Chris Marshall grabbed the first DNA. Melissa H had the second one. And we had Veen Chevalier for number... Or wait, no, Vienna. Yep. Vienna. There we go. Actually, sorry, that was Kimber Spores.
Oh,
my brain skipped out. There you go. Kimber Spores got the third one. Sorry, Vienna.
All right. Congratulations to all. That's great. Dr. Ann Marie Segal, are you ready to go up?
Ooh, let's go.
All right.
All right. The Horta is a blank-based life form.
Ooh,
I know this one.
Devil in the dark.
Devil in the dark. What was the name of the planet for the?
And the answer is not carpet.
It does look like it's on a shag carpet. It does look like that. We got lots of right answers already.
Okay, perfect. So the answer is silicon. And why this is so interesting is because when you look at the periodic table, like the elements that are underneath each other in the column, basically what they have in common is the electrons in their outer orbit that are available to bond with other molecules and atoms. So the interesting thing is that they have like similar bonding capacity because of the same amount of electrons. So it's so intelligent that like instead of carbon, they swap it out for the element that's right under carbon. So
someone asked if it's not concrete. There was a little scene in there where they were repairing the Horta using concrete, but that wasn't what he was actually made of. It was a good try.
It was like a plaster bandage.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we had those answers coming very quickly for this one. We had Dracorex with the first one, Bob D coming in with the second one, and Linda Anderegg with the third.
All right. Katie, you're up next. Are you ready?
Well, let's do this.
All right.
All right, Vasquez Rocks, a famous filming location in Star Trek, consists of this kind of rock. And, fun fact, it's actually been used as a location in 10 episodes of Star Trek and 3 of the movies, including Star Trek 4, 2009, and Into Darkness. So lots of people go and visit this kind of formation, including Big Bang Theory was included in that show too.
Lots of answers.
Mine from Tokyo was just there like yesterday or the day before.
Really?
Anne Marie saying hi to my mom.
Ooh. Let's see. We have all the answers. The answer is sandstone. It's a very rough rock and actually is very easy to climb on. It's actually something that's present outside of Las Vegas. If you go to the Calico Tanks Trail, it's not Vasquez Rocks, but it's something close. So virtual TrekCon to Star Trek Las Vegas. if anyone wants to hike, you let me know. We'll find that sandstone. But it looks like the first one we had was Melissa H with sandstone. Then next was Alyssa Leach Hyde. And then we had Galinda. So yes, Red Rock's amazing for climbing.
That's awesome. Oh, I like Melissa's answer.
Ooh.
Oh my gosh, how do you think you know all this?
Yeah. All right, I'm up next. And so I'll show you the short version on the screen. I'll read the long version. So in the Star Trek Picard episode Vox, we learned that the Borg genetic material doesn't propagate in a species past a certain point in the developmental cycle, which is the age when the frontal cortex stops development. At what age do many people believe this happens? When the frontal cortex stops developing. What age do people think this happens? No, we already got the right answers in there. So I'm gonna, again, this is unfair. So I'm just taking 25. But honestly, like all y'all are in the right range. So I mean, people often say 25 is sort of a guesstimate, but in truth, there is a range in there. It's somewhere in the 20s to around 30 that it actually happens. It's not this singular event where just boom, it stops happening.
I've matured.
Yeah, the cortex is solidified. It's not that abrupt, but 25 is what people often say in that context. So those are the ones we'll go for this.
All right. Well, for the 25 answer, you have Tony Reynolds, Andy Drzymski
from
Iowa.
Yeah.
Let's go Iowa. And Bien Chevalier. So top 3 there.
I like Alison Leach Hyde. It's like a light switch. Dr. Ann Marie, are you ready to go?
Yeah, this is one of my personal favorite questions. Ishka Mugi traveled to Vulcan for what kind of surgery?
Oh, I like this addition.
Yeah.
So this is from the episode Magnificent Ferengi, if that helps.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I love that episode.
Even I'm trying to remember this.
I love this.
I like the.
That's how I know you're not a changeling.
I like. Oh, that's not the one I was trying to click on. They keep moving so fast; it's hard to do. Long.
Okay, perfect. So we have 3. So basically, it's a lobe lift. And what I like about this question is it sort of highlights like you want to go to a doctor or a surgeon who does a high volume of that case that you're looking for. So I love that Ishka went to a planet like where they have like ears that probably sometimes need operated on. And also like where people won't necessarily know her since she's dating Zach. But the other interesting thing about that with the like a lot of papers show like you want to go to a surgeon who has a high volume because that's the best outcome. But sometimes you have to keep in mind that it's the best surgeons who get the hardest cases. And then that can kind of like affect their outcome numbers when you're just, that's like why you need to not just look at data for results and kind of look at the whole picture. But yes, I would go to Vulcan too for that.
Ooh. Well, I have a question. Are we looking exactly for lobe lift or would things like ear lift or lobe count?
I mean, I think ear lift or lobe lift.
All right. In that case, I have our top 3. It's Melissa H, Vienne Chevalier, and Galinda.
Nice job.
Nice work.
Thanks, Katie.
Meteorologist Katie.
Absolutely.
You're up. This is now round 3. Are you ready?
Let's do this. Yes. Weather is frequently the topic of small talk, something that Data tried to perfect in this episode of The Next Generation. I actually was going back through and watching Star Trek to find questions to ask this show, and then this one popped up. I was like, "Oh yes, we're doing this one."
Oh.
Agreed with Ryan T. Husk here, our awesome host. By the way, if you're here, quick shout out and thank you to Ryan T. Husk amidst answering the questions because he's put in a lot of effort to bring you this virtual TrekCon this year. So please give him a shout out and a thanks. He's been our great fearless leader on this.
Well, I see we have a lot of the answers correct in this one. It is Starship Mine, the one with his saddle that he went back to get so he could ride horses on the planet. One of my favorite Picard episodes, actually, and as Tim Russ in it. So a good episode.
Who would have thought that Hutch would come up in like 2 panels back to back?
Yeah, right.
Only original TrekCon.
That's
amazing.
amazing. That's amazing. Lots of these things. Lots of love for Ryan, as expected, as is appropriate.
Absolutely.
I heard you can call him Hutch.
Yeah, no, don't call him. All
Oh, we
right.
have the top 3 for that. Chris Marshall, Ryan T. Husk, and
Oh,
Chuck
Yeah,
A.
R.I.P. Hutch.
R.I.P.
quick shout from Mordogheim. This is great. All right, I'm up next for question number 3. Actually, I don't think I mentioned this, but I think all my questions are from this past year. I tried to do that this time. So I did similar to Katie. I basically just went through everything. So let me pull up recent stuff, and I know I didn't do it in a previous quiz show. This is a safe way of going. All right, number 3. This is now moving on to Strange New Worlds. Ooh. So in the Strange New Worlds episode, Subspace Rhapsody, which I'm sure you all remember, that's the musical one, we saw the crew involuntarily singing. A contrast to this is involuntary swearing, also called coprolalia, which is most commonly thought of as associated with this particular syndrome.
Ooh.
Yeah, lots of people got it even before I finished asking the question. I'm having long-winded questions. Sorry. The answer that I was looking for was Tourette's. What's interesting, and this is something that Dr. Ann Marie probably knew this, but I didn't know this until I was looking this up. Apparently, only 10% of people with Tourette's actually experience this involuntary swearing. So even though people often associate it just in popular culture and stuff like that with that, you can have Tourette's without having that. Like very often you would have Tourette's without having that. So it's actually a fairly uncommon system, but it is associated with it, like more so than just with the general populace. So.
How about that?
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, you mentioned we got him in very quickly. And as someone with probably undiagnosed dyslexia for most of her life, Tourette's is going to be accepted regardless of the spelling. I'm calling it audible on that one. Bob D, Linda Anderegg, and Melissa H are the top 3 for that.
That's awesome. All right. Dr. Ann Marie Segal, are you prepared? Yes. All right, let's go.
How many times did Dr. Bashir remove the Dax symbiont from its host?
Ooh.
Ooh.
Oh.
If you don't know, just type a number fast and hit enter.
Smart. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Yeah, you're right. Oh, yeah, I think everybody just did that.
Okay, no, we're good. So okay. The answer's 2.
That's pretty funny.
That was great. So the first time is invasive procedures when the like criminals come and try and steal the Dax symbiont, and then the second time is Tears of the Prophets, obviously once when Jadzia Dax is killed. But the interesting thing about this is just like every time he would take out the symbiont and then put it back in the same host, like you get really scared because anytime you reoperate on the same area, like you develop adhesions, and adhesions are like the bane of any surgeon. And that's why like as you have repeat surgeries, they become more and more complex because you have all these adhesions you have to like get through, and then the tissue doesn't heal as well and it doesn't hold sutures as well. So they become a huge problem. So in addition to the issue with the symbionts and the host like only being able to be separated after a certain amount of hours, you also have the adhesion issue, making it complicated. So luckily somebody didn't come steal that symbiont multiple times.
Huh.
Okay.
The more you know.
That's
well,
awesome.
There were winners on this one who were very easy to pinpoint since you were all right next to each other. We had Vianne Chevalier, we had Chris Marshall, and Chasen.
All right. I think, actually, I'm up next, aren't I?
I think so.
They're so fun.
1 sec. Yeah. Oh, no, you're up next, Dr. Katie.
All right.
All right. Sorry. Losing track there, looking at the chat. You ready?
Yes.
Question number
I am
4.
ready
After we go through our next round, we'll take a quick pause and just update people on what's going on in case some people may have joined later, like what's happening here.
Sounds good. All right. Along with their weather control system, RISA also has blank regulators to help keep visitors safe. Honestly, I would do a lot to be able to be the meteorologist for RISA. It's like the meteorologist for California, although as of late, that's been a moot joke because you guys have had more fun stuff than we have. So, yes, RISA is definitely... I appreciate the jokes and the answers as well.
Yeah, Jason's one there. Jenny Johnson's too. Those are good.
Oh my gosh,
I
these
think
are
people got it
incredible.
Oh my
right?
god.
We have one so far. Let me see. We've got
Well,
two
there's-
so far.
There's a bunch that have similar words. I don't know how
It
specific.
should
they
have similar words. I'll take similar.
Right.
Because the correct answer is seismic. Seismic regulators. It was mentioned in both Next Gen and Deep Space Nine because it's a very important thing to have. You do not want your guests being shaken by earthquakes. So I'll take seismic and tectonic since they're both those buzzwords when it comes to keeping everyone safe from earthquakes.
Nice.
And because earthquake might be a little bit, I don't know. What do we say? Panel. Should we accept earthquake as well?
Yeah.
Earthquake regulators?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll go with earthquake too. Because then it's Melissa H. We also have Allison Leach Hyde. And then we have I saw hormone regulator again. And all the other and Greg Kenzo. Oh my god.
Oh my gosh.
That's amazing.
That's my riser bumper sticker.
Yeah.
That's the t-shirt.
Oh, I like this.
Oh my gosh.
These are great.
You guys are fantastic.
All right.
Oh.
I think I'm up this time for real next time. So now we're moving from Strange New Worlds to Lower Decks. And this is another long one. I'm sorry.
No.
In the Lower Decks episode, Empathological Fallacies, lots of alcohol is consumed. In chemistry, alcohol is simply any of a class of organic compounds characterized by one or more OH, like oxygen, hydrogen groups, attached to a carbon atom. What are these OH groups called? What is the term for this OH group?
Ohio. Ooh.
Oh yeah,
I
there's
shared-
a lot
I
of
shared the
similar
link.
answers there.
Well, I shared the link with this with my chemistry teacher.
Yeah.
So
Oh.
he's in the chat. Let's see.
Okay, we have 3 people who got it exactly right. This one, I think since some people got it exactly right, let's go with exactly right. The correct answer is hydroxyl rather than hydroxyl. Let's go with that
Hydroxyl.
because I'm referring to the group, right? So hydroxyl. If you think about it, like often things like ethanol, which many of you are familiar with, ethanol is the most common sort of consumed alcohol. It's basically CH3, CH2OH, right? There's also methanol, which is just CH3OH. Don't drink that. That is grain alcohol. It will make you go blind.
Oh,
It is bad.
jeepers.
Yeah, it's kind of intense.
Wow.
Hydroxide is not wrong, but since some people said hydroxyl and that's the formally the right name, let's just go ahead and go with that.
All right. Well, in that case, we have Ocular Pat Down. Interesting name. I like it. Very Lower Deck C for some reason in my brain. Melissa H. And then I believe the other one who had that was Linda Anderegg with hydroxyl.
Good job. Good job. And again, that one's not wrong, but I was looking for hydroxyl. So again, unfair. Sorry. All right. Dr. Ann Marie Segal, you ready to go?
Yes.
All right.
Okay. In TOS, The Deadly Years, what was Lieutenant Galway's first symptom of aging?
Ooh.
I agree.
Gray hair.
Yeah. Let's see.
There's a lot of aging things.
I'm
I can,
tired
I
all
can
the
relate
time.
to a lot of these. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, tired. Yeah. Why I like Jenny Johnson's one. Yelling, get off my lawn.
I don't recall.
Get off my transporter pad, as one person wrote here.
Ooh.
It's been interesting to see, like, as I've been getting more and more into TOS, like, how it does come up, like, every so often in Star
somebody
Trek
got it.
throughout the course of the years. Like,
See, at least one person got it. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
oh no, it just like comes up like every so often and like every series reiteration at some point, like, ooh, this person has speeded up aging. Let's see.
There's definitely one at
Ooh.
least. I didn't notice more, but I
I
did
can't
see
see
one.
if I saw a second one go by.
We could do this for this one, just give it to one person. It's also a possibility.
Yeah,
if you
or
want.
maybe like one clue, which is that like in Americans over the age of 70, 2/3 of Americans exhibit this at least. That's the estimate.
Mhm.
There's a lot of guesses.
There's a lot of guesses.
Oh my word.
Oh, I see a second one. Oh, there's three.
Oh, three.
There's three.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so it is hearing loss, which in this particular case is called presbycusis. And basically, there are like a bunch of reasons that this can happen, and we don't know exactly what it is. One is like the hair receptors in your inner ear may be like blunted over time, or some of them die out, or there's some esoteric ones where like the middle ear, like 3 bones that sort of vibrate with the hearing frequencies. The very high up frequencies, which is what presbycusis means, like you lose those higher frequencies first. It's because like something has to like vibrate so fast that over time, like maybe it's a little bit blunted and slowed, or like the fluid it's in is like a little bit thicker. So you might not pick up those like very, very fast vibrations that translate into the higher frequencies. So a lot of like interesting theory, but basically what it means is hearing loss and the higher frequencies go first, which is also like sometimes a really sexist joke, like, oh, you don't hear your wife shrieking. But like, yeah, but, I mean, it is higher frequencies. So like when you're working at the VA, you kind of try and use like, especially for women doctors, like a lower loud voice for that patient population.
Like a radio voice.
Yeah.
You drop it a little bit. Okay. That is actually really good to know, and I will not be using that in my life because I have a nursing home weather talk coming up. So we're going to get low octave Katie. Let's do this. Oh, fantastic. But we had the winners from that one being Mona Mihas. We had Ryan T. Husk. And we also have Steve Case.
All right. Good job, guys. So we're about halfway through, so let's take a second just to recap what we're doing. This is the virtual TrekCon 2024 Science Quiz Show. So we're asking a suite of questions. We've been alternating between physical sciences, sort of genetics, evolution, and medicine. If you see the answers, or sorry, if you know the answers to the questions, please just go ahead and type them in the live chat. If you're behind, don't worry about it. Like, people often change order as we go along. Very often, whoever's in the lead now may or may not be is not in the lead later on. Sometimes they are, but sometimes not. So please join. The first prize, we've said, is a print of the poker game scene that produced by the amazing artist Jenny R. Johnson. So if you have a chance, check out her website. She has a lot of wonderful merch. JennyRJohnson.com. Very easy to find. Should we recap what people's scores are, what the high scores are right now?
Absolutely. I will go through everyone who has at least 1 point.
Perfect.
Which there's still time. Like you can still literally, I think, win this at this point if we're halfway through. So y'all don't give up. We have Andrew Drzesimski. I'm so sorry. I'm
from Iowa.
Yes, from Iowa. We'll just go with Iowa. Yep. Andrew from Iowa has 1 point. Bob D has 1 point. Chuck A has 1 point. Dracorex also has 1 point. Galinda has 2 points. Then we hop down to Kimber Spores, who has 1. Linda Andrag, who has 3.
Ooh, she's killing it.
A little bit more. Lucia Rax has a single point. Mona Mihas has 1 point. You said Vian?
Yep.
Vian. Chevalier has 3. Allison Leachhide has 2. Chris Marshall has 4. Carol Shorn has 1. Melissa H has 6.
Whoa, there's
Tony
our
Reynolds. I know, right? Tony Reynolds has 1. Ryan T. Husk has 2. Then we also have Chasen with 1, Greg Kenza with 1, Ocular Pat Down with 1, and Steve Case with 1.
I love Faith Allen's comment here. Everyone quit playing right now and came over to take these boys off of me. They're slowing me down. You still could win. You never know. Like, we actually sometimes had the person in the lead just suddenly leave because, like, I don't know, their pizza got there or something. So
exactly. food over science, some would say,
Pizza.
Good job, Melissa H. and all. Everybody's got anything, and everybody's even just
and
playing.
you know, like, it also starts getting harder from here on out.
It does start getting harder.
A lot of times we've had people win in the who like come out of nowhere in the second half. Yep. So keep at it.
Is keeping track of this. You can probably track my eyes during the stream. I'm just like But we're getting
So
them. We
good.
got them all down.
So speaking of amazing, Katie, you ready to go?
I'm ready to go.
All right, let's do it. Second half of the show.
All right. Starfleet headquarters in San Francisco has this kind of meteorological climate, which I will not lie, I got it wrong when I was looking it up.
Oh, wow.
So I
Oh.
was surprised. There's a lot of different climates that are around the world, of course, and when they interact with each other, or say some weather dislodges from some climates and others, you get really amazing interactions. This
Mhm.
one, for example, is characterized by mild, wet winters and warm, dry summers. I would say almost hot, as long as you're away from the coast a little bit at times. I see a lot of people who know a lot. Wait, a lot of people who have a lot of guesses. I've seen one, I've seen two, and I've seen three. The answer is Mediterranean, like half of my blood
Woohoo!
for those Greeks.
Interesting.
But yeah, it's a Mediterranean climate. And there's a lot of climates around the world. So depending on where you're watching, just look it up. And you might be surprised, especially if you live in San Francisco and didn't think it would be Mediterranean. But we have our three winners. Ocular Pat Down is the first one, I believe. Then we have War Dog Heim popping in with Mediterranean. And we also have Melissa H. trying to extend that
He's
lead.
keeping that lead. Yeah, good job.
Is
Oh,
that
yeah.
really fast?
Good job to everybody for doing it. All right, I'll hop in now with a question. Now we're moving. Last one was Lower Decks, so now we're going to move to the other animated series, the really awesome one that I love so much, Star Trek Prodigy. In the Prodigy episode, Dreamcatcher, a hologram Janeway described the appearance of the plant life using this term, which refers to hair-like structures found on the surface of cells. Hair-like structures found on the surface of cells. Oh, yeah. People got it very quickly. Good job, guys.
Wow. I didn't know that.
I was expecting people to like go wrong and say something like flagella, but like no.
Oh.
But the correct answer was cilia. Then I think what hologram Janeway actually said was cilium-like. We'll take that. Cilia, anything that's cilia, CILIA, or versions thereof. We'll take them.
Oh,
Good job, you guys. You guys jumped
in
on
that case. We have Salome KBG, new point for a new player. Ocular Pat Down, also there. And Lane Page coming in with the question mark at the end, which is the same way I was answering it in my head. So
Did you know it? No, okay.
I was way off.
No, it's tough. Somebody's coming about like it's sometimes hard to get on the draw with these things. So if it's one that people know, then it's all about speed. But sometimes a lot of people don't know it, and you have a chance to jump in. But yeah, so they're pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of like microorganisms that use them for movement and
They're
stuff.
so
Others use them
cute.
for moving things around. Yeah, I know. Like you think like paramecium. There's little cilia. It's like shh, and that's how they move around. Not our cells. They don't do that. Dr. Ann Marie, are you ready to go?
I am.
All right.
Okay. In Turnabout Intruder, Scotty said he has seen Kirk feverish, sick, drunk, delirious, terrified, overjoyed. I'll also add, and very attractive, and boiling mad. But until then, he'd never seen him blank.
Ooh.
The answer is not female.
Yeah. Oh boy.
That would work for that episode, but that's not what happened. Or not what was said.
Oh my gosh. Some of these comments.
Ooh, I like Jenny R. Johnson. Oh my.
Yeah. Ooh.
Oh my goodness. Whoa. Oh, you guys are so much fun. Oh,
So I haven't seen anybody say it yet.
I haven't
that helps.
either. This might be one of those stumped ones. If you have a lagging internet feed, you have a chance right now.
I thought I saw
All
one.
right. I've seen one now.
Yeah, okay, that's what I saw.
I've seen, yeah.
One of our friends got it.
Oh my.
No, I like Melissa Longos.
Yeah, gooey. That's a fun word. It doesn't get used enough.
Well, there's a callback to the last show here.
Mhm.
This is like one of those fun Mad Libs.
Yeah, it is kind of like a Mad Libs thing. Ooh. I actually think we did
seen
see
him
him bleeding
bleeding
before that.
and is that a mock time? When his
Yeah,
shirt's
that's
ripped?
exactly what I was thinking of. I was thinking it was like mock time.
Yeah.
I was like, I think we did see him. Well, I like this one, sleeping.
Ooh. Oh, let's see. Would we only have 2 winners, possibly?
I like this one.
Let's see.
Picking some of the fun ones that I know. What do you say, Dr. Ann Marie? You want to call it with 2?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
So I saw somebody get it like verbatim, red-faced, with hysteria. And I mean, I'd also accept like hysterical or something, but the reason I really wanted to like call attention to this one is just because I think it's important to remember like where some of these medical words come from, just because it's important to always keep that in mind and remember like something like hysterical, like the root of the word is hysteris, which is Greek for womb. And then, so like you might hear it in like, exactly, because ectomy means like take it out. So it's kind of like when you say hysteria or hysterical, it's sort of saying like the root of that is the woman's womb. And that's why like women were locked up for insanity in Victorian times. And so like in this episode in particular, it's, I don't know. I mean, I like to treat TOS like it's a product of its time. And sometimes the women actually requested to wear short skirts because like it showed off some of their assets on TV and people like to look good. But in this case, like it's a little bit and to be like, there's a woman in Kirk's body. He's hysterical. So anyway, I think important, especially when it comes to medicine, and because like women's medicine always lags behind other medicine. Important to remember that this is why, because for like millennia, women's problems were not taken seriously.
Mm-hmm.
Is this right? There's a question right here.
I
don't know the answer. Maybe,
but it's definitely. Yeah, I don't know the god.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Well, if we cut it at the two that I had with the correct answer were Linda Andreg, got that one, and the one for verbatim was Steve Case.
Good job, y'all. That's awesome.
Wow, that was amazing.
That is very amazing.
Talk about a book with a walking encyclopedia with legs or whatever they call Kirk.
Yeah.
Aww, that's unfortunate.
That's why we have a support system of friends who are here for you during virtual TrekCon. We got you guys.
Yeah, and changing doctors.
Yeah,
that too.
That too. All right, meteorologist Katie, you're up.
Let's go. All right. What is the technical term for the weather phenomenon that frequently plagues Ceti Alpha 5's deserts? Fun fact, I've been in one. It's horrifying. Like, to see it advancing towards you, you're just like, oh, so this is what death looks like. Yeah. It has a it's a phrase I can't really say on television as well. Because you get viewers who turn on the TV and hear this one, they're tuning out again. The correct answer is yes, haboob. That is the scientific term for a dust storm. It typically happens when you have a storm in the desert that drops rain. The rain, actually, every time a drop hits, leads to a puff of dirt or sand or dust. And if you get enough raindrops, you're going to have a wall of dust. And it just goes over everything. And the main concern with that, breathing, of course, but also visibility drops to 0. You can't see, the sun goes out. It's insane. Yeah, Melissa H., you're right. You experience this a lot. So if you haven't experienced one, you're just missing out on a little bit of horror from your life. One strip of paint, it's like being sandblasted. It's wild. But with that, I haven't scrolled through enough to look, but we do have the winners for this one. Daft Ballston? has that one. We also have Melissa H. And then we also have Error 404 ID not found.
Yeah, I love that. I love that handle.
That's amazing.
That's great.
All right.
Awesome.
I'm up next. So we did Prodigy last time. We're now coming back to Strange New World. And we're talking actually this time about the season finale, that series cliffhanger episode. So in the Strange New Worlds episode, Hegemony, there's a reference to environmental factors triggering the swarming instinct in locusts. What is the most proximate cause for this behavior in desert locusts?
Ooh, sticking with the desert theme. I like it.
Yeah, keeping the deserts going. Ooh, we got some silence there. Oh, we got heat.
I love that.
Notice the important thing is I said the
that.
most proximate cause.
Ooh.
So a lot of people are giving sort of like weathery answers. I'm talking about the most proximate cause in this case.
Let's see.
Those first days in med school where you had to learn like different terms for directions. So it was like proximal, distal, ventral, dorsal.
Like what are they actually?
Lateral, medial.
Yeah,
So
the question is, what are they actually sensing? So I mean, like things like rain and stuff like that could potentially apply, but I'm talking about specifically what do they sense that does it? Some people are saying mating. Actually, there's one answer I could actually take. I don't know if it was intended as the right answer, but I could interpret it as the right answer.
That's a lot of science, isn't it? It's like, I mean, it could
be. Moisture, magnetic fields. And it's the most like what are they actually directly sensing? Not what results. Like now, it's the ultimate cause. I like J.D. Honor Johnson's answer. That's not it. But I wish that was it.
I mean, you never know. You get metachlorines in their blood, and next thing you know, boom, Jedi locusts.
I heard Disney was buying Paramount.
No,
among all the other ones.
Yeah, a lot of people are still going for this with the weathery things and stuff like that. I'm like, no. Oh. Okay, I have two now, I think.
Ooh.
Let's take it with the two because I want to keep us moving. The answer is actually crowding, right? The answer is actually overcrowding. Basically, what's happening is it's tactile stimulation. What it is. So there are some answers about like, each other and animals. I'll take those because I mean that's the closest anybody got. I don't know if that you actually meant the overcrowding, but that's actually what they sent. That's the most proximal stimulation. So I mean, some of it could be related to weather things, but what they're actually sensing is the crowd. And the rainfall is what causes them to crowd. So again, like you guys were not wrong, but it's not the most proximal thing it's doing. And basically, when they sense that crowd, that's when they shift. That's when they shift over. For some species, it's actually caused by antennal contact, but for these guys, that's what it is.
Really?
Oh, that's what I meant in animals too. So Chris Marshall, he was the one who said animals earlier on, and somebody else.
Gotcha. Okay. I was wondering. I was like, who all got this
one? Yeah, I forget the second one said each other. I think
that'd be Salome KBG.
Yes, those are the ones we got. It's a tough one, right? Because I mean, you guys who said rain. I mean, you were not wrong about a cause, but like I said, the most proximal cause.
All right.
So interesting. I love that.
This is I go into work on the Monday after this quiz show, and I'm like, hey, I have some cool facts to talk about during quiz breaks, guys. Did you know? My anchors hate me probably.
Awesome. Dr. Ann Marie, are you ready to go?
Yes. Okay, what did Bones, Dr. McCoy, do in preparation for administering the aging cure to Spock in the deadly years?
Ooh. Let's see. I imagine like there's just frequent typing happening at like at least 50 locations across the world right now. Like, I have an idea. Wash his hands.
Are kind of on the right track. Like things that you would prepare, like do for preparing, or like sort of like sensing what might happen during the procedure. So you want to like make sure all the causes are
deep squats.
controlled.
Jenny,
all the like
you're incredible. Sorry. I just saw Jenny's answer.
Okay, it's
That's
not
Jenny's
Dr.
answer.
Boyce, Bob D.
Oh, oh my. Oh, oh man, there's a lot of answers. Not exactly what we're looking for. Oh, let's see.
Still talking to some people in the chat about the desert locusts.
Amazing. It's something he does like to get sick bay ready, not necessarily like himself.
Mm-hmm. Because you have to remember also the episode that is that this is a part of,
Mhm.
being the deadly years.
And it just kind of speaks to like the importance of preparing like your whole surroundings so that the procedure will go well.
Yeah.
Which is like that's so heavily stressed like when you're about to do any procedure. Yeah, smooth. Oh my god, that's like if you're doing stuff with Neelix.
Yeah.
Would never be this one in Star Trek. They never do that.
Yeah. They have a lot of faith in those air purifiers. Let's see. I mean, I see one that might count. Yeah, let's see.
If anybody here is going on the Star Trek cruise this coming week, the trivia shows there are going to be multiple choice. So,
yeah, nice.
we have to do it harder here because otherwise you just be like, hey, you know, it's like it's too fast.
Do you want to just do the one that we saw so far? What do you guys think?
I see two. I think that could work.
Oh, I like this answer.
Yeah.
Smart.
It's bones. I won't answer. Okay. So the answer is like remove all the breakables. And so you just want to like always think about like what can happen after I do X, Y, or Z, even if it's not like 1000% going to happen. Like you just don't want to have any sort of things that you can control. Obviously, you already have like enough variables to think about. But yeah, I think Allison Leach Hyde had it right.
Yep, clear the room with Allison Leach Hyde, and then popping in just before we decided to cut off that was Chris Marshall. So
perfect.
So we have to go back and give an extra point to Vianne Chevalier. She is right that those desert locusts do exhibit lecking behavior. And we only give it to 2, so we can just add it to the third.
All right,
Vianne Chevalier, you get that extra point. You're right. I didn't actually know they lecked. Okay. And that would do it. I mean, that would count. That would be a very proximal stimulus for it. So good job. Thanks for calling it out too. All right. I believe you're up next, meteorologist Katie.
Let's do it. All right. Jet Reno likens this stellar phenomenon to a burp. And funny enough,
I remember Dr. Aaron McDonald doing that.
Yeah. It is funny too. I have a lot of friends who are into a certain kind of weather, and they've been losing their absolute minds because this hasn't been happening lately. So I will take the shorthand, I will take the abbreviation, and we already got them all.
Yeah, we got
it's
them all.
coronal mass ejection. They're actually responsible for creating the aurora borealis on Earth, and a lot of people who are into meteorology are also into space weather and chasing auroras, which is much less hazardous for our health, but not for our sanity, because it's way trickier to forecast. So don't find a friend who does it. Don't try to get into it yourself. It's a struggle. I'm telling you that with experience. In that case, we also have the winners of this round being Daft Ballston with CME. We have, I'll take mass ejection, coronal mass ejection. It's along the same vein. In that case, it'd be Linda Anderegg and Carol Shorn.
Good job, you guys.
Wow.
People are kicking butt.
Yeah.
All right. I'm up next. We're going back to Star Trek Prodigy. So this is coming to episode 15. In Star Trek Prodigy's episode Masquerade, Dr. Jago says, quote, Dal is the product of artificial blank. It's when the DNA of different species, when you combine the DNA from different species to create something original. What is the blank? What is it that Dr. Jago said there? I have an easy out on. So there's some answers that could potentially be right here, but it's like it's something that the doctor actually said. So there's a very specific answer there. So maybe we're coming close. It's 2 words. We'll give you that hint. It's 2 words. So a lot of people saying things that sound like it, but it's not what the doctor actually said.
I'm thinking back. I'm like, wait, what? Oh, yeah.
There's 2 words, and a lot of people are saying something that's a 1 word that sounds like those 2 words together, but it's not the same thing.
I do appreciate how when we say, oh, there's a little bit of a break, and then everyone, the chat just goes silent for a second where everyone's like, what?
Yeah, like, what was that?
We can visually see you all thinking up the answers.
Yeah. I see somebody's gotten it already. Let's see if we get any others.
See.
There's a lot of close things, too. I wonder if some of the close ones were actually autocorrect errors.
Ooh.
I've only seen one get it exactly right, though, in terms of exactly what Dr. Jago said. Which, I mean, you can pull this up. Like, you can look up scripts online. You can pull up exactly what Dr. Jago said.
Netflix is like, why is everyone watching this one episode at this one right now?
There's an episode of Biotrek he explains about it, too. I'm just going to go with the 1, since I've only seen the 1 come up. Oh no, that was 2. You got 2. We'll go with 2 now.
All right.
The correct answer is artificial hybrid speciation. A lot of people said artificial hybridization. It's not quite the same thing. Hybridization is just basically bringing 2 things together. Hybrid speciation is something that actually results in like a completely new combination that is essentially a new species completely. So
nice.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I do have a question. Melissa came in with the answer right as you were saying it.
Oh, is that as I was saying? Okay. Take it.
Oh no, mine loaded like right about the same time.
That's fine. If it was as I was saying, we'll take it.
Okay. We'll toss it in. But in that case, we have Melissa coming in with that answer. Melissa also having the answer. And then also, I believe it was Steve Case.
Steve Case. Yeah, I saw him got it. He got it really early. So I was like, go Steve Case.
Yeah, I'm impressed.
Yeah, that one's really hard. Boy, I wonder where they got that term in that episode.
Plus, like getting exact wording for like TOS and Prodigy. That's amazing, Steve Case. Wow.
I love actually that I'm doing Current Trek and you're doing mostly TOS, Ann Marie, so we're kind of like
we
straddling. I mean, Katie's all over, so it's good. We have a good mix.
I'm nowhere.
Dr. Ann Marie, you ready?
Yeah.
All right, let's go.
Okay. How many broken ribs did Dr. McCoy once suffer?
Ooh.
This is from This Side of Paradise. They see some evidence of healed broken ribs on an x-ray.
You know, one of those things, if you don't know, just type a number and hit enter. I see people doing that. I suspect the answer is in there. There's a lot of numbers. This would be kind of tough.
Yeah. It was also revealed he's an alien.
Oh my God.
That poor man.
Okay, I think I've seen 3 people.
Yeah, I'm sure I know. Yeah.
So the answer is 2. And the interesting thing to note about rib fractures is that that's basically like one of, if not the most painful thing you can have, because basically every time you breathe and you're breathing in and out, your ribs move and it like disrupts the fracture, and there are a bunch of nerve endings around there. So when you have to have like a very tight pain regimen to control that. So it'll be like 800 milligrams of ibuprofen like 3 times a day, assuming like you don't have any risk of GI bleeds or something like that. But just for reference, usually the dose is like 200 to 400 milligrams every 4 to 6 hours. So doing that, I mean, it's a big dose 3 times a day. And then there are other things also you can do, and like holding pillows when you're breathing to your chest to kind of like prevent your chest from expanding as much when you're breathing and disrupting the ribs. But oh man, totally painful. Do not envy that happened to McCoy or anybody that happens to.
Oh, so you're telling me in TV and movies when they're like, I'll just wrap them up and get back into battle, that's a complete lie. That would hurt way more.
Well, I mean, wrapping it up so that you're like putting pressure there so that it doesn't expand as much when you're breathing. Kind of like the same thing if you're putting sort of like a binder on it, or sometimes like, especially for pediatrics, she'll give like a teddy bear, but even do adults too. And like, it's cute and fun to cuddle with, but it's also like to hold against your injuries so that you're not, it's like everything isn't moving as freely with each breath, but super painful.
I love it. Well, that's not good, but the teddy bear.
Yeah.
Well, we do have the winners for that one. Jason got that in first with 2. Then we had Tony Reynolds pop in with the correct answer. And finally, Ultra Runningham, who I assume was just typing every number on the keyboard.
I mean, it's a strategy.
It's a strategy. Oh.
So we have time for maybe one more question.
Ooh,
what do you guys think? We have 3 more queued up. We have time for maybe one more. You guys in the chat, pick which one you want. Do you want to just put like one of our names?
Let me see if we're close to any ties or not.
I don't think
we need any.
Time for number 1 at least. We're not close.
Oh, we definitely are not. Yeah.
No, that's very solid.
We might even have a straight up for 2nd and 3rd right now. How about that?
Well, we have actually somebody saying each of us, so it's like, all right.
Oh, and by the way, just to add, you have 12 ribs on each side.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
good deal. Let's. I'm just gonna arbitrarily click into whichever. I'm gonna close my eyes and click a button. Biology. Okay. Okay. Let me cue that up then. This one's actually it's difficult but not impossible.
Okay.
Ready? All right. So, in Lower Decks episode, I have no bones and yet I must flee. The Moopsie drinks the bones of its prey. What bird species, be specific, don't just say a category, has a diet of about 80% bones?
Wait, didn't I see this on a BioTrekkie Explained?
You may have.
I thought you were going to say Moopsie the way that you said it in the video.
Moopsie.
Oh, that's how I always hear it in my head when I read it now.
Yeah, there are people saying the category correctly, but you have to say that this like a 2-word answer.
Ooh.
So if the answer was cardinal, I want you to say bearded cardinal or whatever, or something like something. It's not a bearded. I just made that up.
Dr. Miguel.
I'm just gonna take whoever said it first. We'll just take whoever gets it first. I think Melissa H got it, I believe.
I do see that. Yes.
Yes. The correct answer is the bearded vulture. A lot of people said vulture, but that's like I said, very specific. The bearded vulture is the one that does. I mean, a lot of the vultures were just eating the decaying flesh. They're not necessarily eating the actual bones per se, but the bearded vulture in particular, it's a weird one. It actually, most of its diet is actually the bones. It's crazy. I see Alison Leach Hyde got it later too, and David Boston too.
Is that the bird you
so
said,
we only
like,
counted the
drops
first?
the prey so that it...
Oh no, that's something else.
No.
I think that's isn't that a crow?
Oh,
I can't remember. That might be a crow that does that. I'm not sure. But anyway, let's do our final tally now.
All right, final tally. We'll give. Do we want to do the top 3 and then go through everyone's scores?
Sure.
Perfect. All right. So in first place with a double-digit score of 10 points.
That's amazing.
Melissa
That's unprecedented.
H.
We've never had that high score before.
I'm blown away.
Yeah, that's intense. She's an environmental scientist, so fair, but still.
Ooh, wow. All right. Well, Melissa H., great job with that. Then next up, if I'm not mistaken, let me double check all my numbers.
Oh, I like this answer.
I am not mistaken. In second place, we have Chris Marshall with 6 points.
Very good as well.
Very well done. And I'm sure that in third place, with 5 points, we have Linda Anderegg. So those are our top 3. everyone's points altogether.
Wow.
Andrew Drzymski from Iowa got 1 point. Bob D has 1. Chuck A had 1. Dracorex had 1. Galinda had 2. We also had Kimber Spores who had 1. We had Melissa Longo with a single point there. And then scrolling down, War Dog Han tied with 1 point. And Lucia Rex has 1. Mona Mijas has 1. Vienne Chevalier, I think. How did you say it? Vienna? Vienne?
Yeah.
Vienne. I'm so sorry.
Okay,
You got
all
4
good.
points. I should
Yeah, that's very good.
That
That was excellent.
And then Allison Leach Hyde had 3. We have Carol Shorn with 2. Tony Reynolds with 2. Ryan T. Husk with 2. Chasen has 2. Greg Kenzo has 1. Ocular Pat Down with 3. Steve Case with 3. Salome K had 2. Lane Page had 1. Daft Balston had 2. Error 404 ID Not Found had 1. And Ultra Runningham had 1.
All right.
Thank you, Katie.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody.
Congratulations to everybody who played. Huge thanks, meteorologist Katie. Thank you for being here and also for keeping score. That's a huge extra lift.
Amazing.
Dr. Ann Marie Segal also provided great questions too. Thank you for being here. And this is it. As another virtual TrekCon science quiz comes to a close, but the virtual TrekCon goes on.
And
So
should we
be
say
sure to tune
where
in.
you can look for us?
Oh yeah, it's a good idea.
Oh, I meant at STLV.
Yeah. Sorry, I thought you meant the usual sort of thing.
That too.
Yeah. Well, so yeah, let's talk about. Why don't you say the part you were just introducing?
Okay, well, basically, you can come play live with us in Las Vegas in August at Creation Star Trek Las Vegas at the Rio, August.
Exactly, same sort of quiz show, but live in person.
You're chaos. Let's go.
Yeah.
It's gonna be great. So, Dr. Ann Marie Segal, where can we find you online?
Twitter at Ann Marie Segal 1.
Excellent. Meteorologist Katie?
You can find me at weather_Katie on all the social medias and as so many random fandoms on YouTube.
Awesome. You can find me on all the socials at Mafnoor, M-A-F like Frank, and like November, O-O-R, or on YouTube as BioTrekkie Explains. It's this channel you're watching right now. You can subscribe if you feel like it. Tomorrow, don't forget, 8 o'clock Eastern time is the Lappy Award Show. That is like the crown jewel of the virtual TrekCon. Lots and lots of prizes, lots of really awesome guests. You'll be very surprised when you see.
Get dressed up, have champagne.
It's going to be epic. But right now, continue the virtual TrekCon. If you go to the description box just below, open up. There's a link to the next show. I believe it's the Treksperts briefing room. So you can click
Delta
on that.
Flyers.
Yeah, you can click on that and just go right over and watch that. Thank you all for being here. I apologize. We've gone 2 minutes over time, but luckily they don't start till 10:15, so you're good.
Hi, Mom.
We have time to go to the restroom.
Yay. Awesome.
Take care, everybody, and science well. Yay. Bye-bye.